Good afternoon. My name is Bailey Patterson. I am a senior public health major with a concentration in health sciences. And today for my abnormal psychology final presentation, I will be evaluating the abnormal psychology of Angelina Meyer. For the introduction, I picked a show called Manifest. It's a supernatural series that was aired in 2018 on NBC and then later transferred on to Netflix. This show is about a flight that went missing for over 5.5 years, and the flight came back as if nothing was wrong. It may have seemed 5.5 years to society, but to the passengers, it was like they were gone within 3 hours. During this plane, they experienced a lot of turbulence, what they thought was just turbulence, but actually turned out to be only missing, for them to be missing for 5.5 years. The person that I'm focusing on this abnormal psychology project is the character Angelina, who was introduced in season 3. Angelina's history. So as I mentioned before, she was a flight 828 passenger, but also when she returned from the flight, all of the characters started receiving what they termed as callings, which were visions, callings in their head that basically had them assisting other flights. So she was kept prisoner by her parents because they misconceived her callings as something sinister. And she was kept prisoner in the basement of her parents. She escaped from this actually by 2 other passengers that were on the plane who saw this calling and came and rescued her. Another thing about Angelina's history, after she was rescued, she stayed with these 2 828 passengers, and she started developing a relationship with the infant child in the house by the name of Eden. She started doing a lot of, She started doing a lot of weird things in regards to her relationship with Eden, which further led to the murder of Grace, which was Eden's mother, and the abduction of Eden. And she also had several suicidal incidents throughout the show that will be featured later in the video. So the chief complaint or the presenting problem was that she was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. She had very much distorted self-image, unstable relationships, fear of abandonment, especially when it came to Eden. She was very impulsive. She did a lot of attempted self-injury, a lot of risky behavior, feelings of emptiness, definite suicidal threats, which we'll get into, suspicious, inappropriate anger, and a lack of self-control. So the diagnostic criteria for borderline personality disorder, to define borderline personality disorder, it is a pervasive pattern of instability of interpersonal relationships, self-image, and effects and marked impulsivity, beginning in early adulthood and present in a variety of contexts, as indicated by 5 or more of the following. Highlighted is basically the criteria that Angelina met. The first one was frantic efforts to avoid real or imagined abandonment, a pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships characterized by alternating between extremes of ideation and devaluation, recurrent suicidal behavior, gestures or threats, or self-mutilating behavior, chronic feelings of emptiness, and inappropriate intense anger or difficulty controlling anger. Now to go into each reason why she presents that. The frantic efforts to avoid abandonment can be seen in several ways with Angelina, such as taking shelter in other passengers' homes. So the original one was when she was rescued by the Flight 828 passengers. After she murdered the mother and abducted the child, she made other passengers on the 828 flight feel sorry for her. Not only did these passengers not know that this was the child being abducted, but they also felt sorry, and she was very manipulative into letting her get into their homes and stay with them. The pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships is characterized by alternating between extremes of ideation and devaluation. This could be seen with the child Eden. She termed Eden as her quote-unquote guardian angel, thinking that Eden could protect her from all harm and whatever she does. She had many different tests to see that, which we'll get into, which goes into the recurrent suicidal behavior, gestures, or threats. she did a lot of suicidal things in order to test that Eden was her guardian angel, such as a trial by fire, which we'll later see a video of. She also threatened to jump off of a bridge, and also another video will show her almost bombing a house, just to test that this child was her guardian angel and that she will indeed save her from anything. Chronic feelings of emptiness was seen when she initially was kicked out of the house when the mother witnessed the trial by fire. She was kicked out of the house and did anything to try to see Eden again, which eventually led to the kidnapping of Eden. And it's also seen when Eden was rescued after 2 years of her being abducted. She tried to do everything in her power to get Eden back by calling the father, even though she knows what she did wasn't ethical. She still tried getting in contact just to talk to Eden and to basically still establish her relationship with Eden. But as a result of that, of course, they wouldn't allow Eden to talk to Angelina because of the ethical behavior that was displayed. The inappropriate intense anger or difficulty controlling anger could be seen by her suicidal and harmful ideations, which will later be seen in the videos. For the differential diagnoses, major depressive disorder, bipolar 1 disorder, and histrionic bipolar disorder. These are 3 disorders that were in the DSM, and the reason why these are differential diagnoses and she would not be considered is because she did not meet the criteria of each differential diagnosis. And also she did not have, for bipolar 1 disorder, she did not have the hypomanic and manic episodes during a recurrent period of time. They were more spread out over time. And for major depressive disorder, the two-week criteria was met, but the only criteria that Angelina met was having depressive mood for most of the day when Eden was taken back from her. And also for histrionic bipolar disorder, yes, she did, in a sense, seek manipulative behavior and rapid shift of emotions, but she did not have, it didn't include the feelings of self-destruction, angry disruptions, or chronic feelings of emptiness. And she did not meet 5 of the diagnostic criteria, and she only met 3. The criteria she met included being suggestible, excessively impressionable, and exaggerated emotion expression. So now we're going to go into the videos.
Watching? We're connected. If you're my guardian angel, show me. This is our trial by fire. Help me, Eden. We're connected. Behold, an angel will guard you. Behold, an angel will guard you. Behold.
Without being spicy. Hey,
Huh? Did Eden go down okay?
yeah, I think she's up now.
Angelina's with her.
Oh, good. You're right. Everything's fine. See?
Eden. She's scared.
Oh my God, fire! stay away from her.
No, I just needed her to prove it. It's okay. But now you see, don't you?
See what?
She's my guardian angel. She sent you a message to come up there.
You did this on purpose.
It was a test, a trial by fire. I knew that Eden would never let me get hurt. She just proved that she and I are connected. Isn't that right, Eden?
Get out.
No. What? I can't leave. I belong here.
You need to get your things. And go. Go! Get out!
Fire's out.
Okay, so this scene showed both the pattern of unstable and intense interpersonal relationships, which, as you can see with Eden and her in the room, she thought that Eden was going to protect her from the fire as if she was her guardian angel. As you can see, the candle slipped and eventually hit the drapes, and the whole room almost went into flames. And she believed that Eden sent a signal to her mother to come and save both of them. This is also an example of diagnostic criteria where it's recurrent suicidal gestures or threats. Not only did she put the baby in harm's way, but she put herself in harm's way as well. Now for the next clip. This next clip displays when basically after the mother had kicked her out, she snuck into the house to try to see Eden.
I can't believe they tried to separate us.
What if my mom had come up here instead of me?
Eden was crying. She needed soothing. And I just couldn't help myself. I mean, look at her little face. She loves me.
Angelina, when you were in the nursery with Eden and the curtains caught on
I
fire,
would never hurt her. Never. But I understand if you have your doubts about me. Nothing but bad things have happened since I got here.
Okay. So not only did this show the unstable interpersonal relationship, but it also showed that she has chronic feelings of emptiness about herself. Like she said, quote unquote, only bad things have happened to me since I've gotten here. Eden is the only reason that she came back, and keeps doing this. This next scene is when Eden abducts the child and also kills Grace.
I need my guardian angel. For I know the plans I have for you, declared the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. We're connected.
oh my God.
And then we're gonna follow up into this next
I
clip,
need my guardian.
which is the same clip. It's just kind of fast forwarded because it's a lot going on. In this, you can see that the mother is laying on the floor. She has been stabbed by who force Angelina. And soon after this, she died. Okay. Up to this point, you can see that she has inappropriate, intense anger or difficulty controlling her anger. Alright. Difficulty controlling her anger. As you can see, she has already stabbed the mother, she has abducted the baby, and just to avoid that real abandonment from the child, even though the child wasn't really hers to begin with. She established this relationship with her and believed that Eden was indeed her guardian angel and she could not live without her. So, going into these next few clips, this is 2 years after the incident has happened. She has successfully abducted the child and the mother has been murdered for 2 years, and Angelina is wanted, or they believe, and she is presumed dead along with Eden. This is when the father, Ben, actually finds Angelina and she is doing some sort of suicidal behavior and threat, not only regarding herself, but regarding other people.
Give me back my daughter!
Please, Angelina, it's over.
You lied! You were never here for me! Give her to me now!
Angela, please. Be reasonable, Angelina. Put the detonator down.
Mommy! Mommy! It's okay. Angel, Mommy's here. You saved us once before. You can save us again.
Go then, run! No, I'm not leaving you. It's fine. How do you know? Because I remembered it. Run! I'll be back. Back! Here, take her. Where's Cal? I'm going back in.
Okay, so from this scene, you can see that she was willing to put herself in harm and also other people in harm as well. This was another episode of her recurrent suicidal behavior and threats. And also you can see in this scene her inappropriate, intense anger and her difficulty controlling anger. No matter who was in the house, she didn't care if Eden was in the house. She thought that, as she said, you saved us once, you could save us again. That is referring to the time, I could not find a clip on it, but earlier in the season, when I said that she was presumed dead, basically her and Eden were on a cliff, on a bridge, and she was about to jump. This was a little after she had abducted Eden. And before she jumped, Eden called her mom, and that refrained her from jumping. So that was also an instant of suicidal behavior that was refrained. And as a result of this was another instance of her suicidal behavior. And it's also intense anger that she has. And then this last one, I think it's just a picture because I couldn't actually find a clip as well. This was about a few weeks after the child was returned back to her original home. She tricked the father, Ben, into coming to the cemetery to visit his dead wife and Eden's biological mother. And Angelina was already there in hopes of getting Eden back or taking her back. That was inappropriate, intense anger. As you can see, you probably can't see, but she is pointing a gun to Ben. And that was basically one of her frantic efforts to avoid abandonment by just trying to receive Eden back. As a result of this, she was unsuccessful because Eden ended up picking who she wanted to go with. She ended up wanting to go with her father, and Angelina felt more empty, grew even more mad, and tried to find a way to actually get Eden back, even though she has been with her for over 2 years. That relationship just wasn't enough. Eden knew something was wrong at the age of 2 years. On to treatment and prognosis. I would like to say that Angelina is a very special case. Just watching the show and evaluating her psychology, but she would definitely need psychotherapy. Let me get into what each one of these psychotherapies would actually do for her. Schema-focused psychotherapy is one that helps identify unmet needs that have led to negative life patterns, which sometimes may have been helpful for survival. This therapy focuses on helping your needs met in a healthy manner to promote positive life patterns. Not only in schema-focused therapy will she be able to focus on her past and what has happened to her, she can evaluate it, such as the instances on the Flight 828 plane, the relationships she has with their parents, the relationships she develops with other people. Helping her evaluate that will most likely be successful in her recovery. Mentalization-based therapy is a type of talk therapy that helps you identify your own thoughts and feelings at any given moment and create an alternative situation. This will basically help with more of her suicidal ideations and harm to other people. It'll help her think of alternative pathways instead of going to the one that can harm you the most. The last type of therapy, which I think will be the most beneficial, is the transference-focused therapy, but it can also be the most dangerous. This one aims to help you understand your emotions and interpersonal difficulties through developing a relationship between you and your therapist. So the reason I think this one will be the most beneficial is because it'll help her evaluate her interpersonal relationship that she had with Eden. And the more she evaluates this, the more she will realize that Eden is not really her guardian angel and that she is just a child that is there. But the only main problem I would have with this, if it could go unsuccessful, is if she develops a very interpersonal relationship with her therapist and it goes downhill, meaning that she would think of her therapist the way that she thought of Eden. So because of her suicidal ideations, she will have to be hospitalized, and also due to the fact that it is a possibility she could try to kidnap the child again, or she could try to go after the family. It would just be in the best preference for her to be hospitalized during this time. At least 6 months, and then after the 6 months of hospitalization, she should, with consistent active psychotherapy, she should go to an outpatient therapist at least 3 times a week. Now, if she does not, I'm going to be very blunt with this, if she does not go through with her treatment, she will probably die as a result of her suicidal ideations, or if she tries to kidnap the child again, the family might take drastic measures and kill her, or also another flight to 828 passenger could get the calling to kill her. So her best bet would be to complete psychotherapy and be in hospitalization. And this concludes my presentation.